you're going to see today is we're going to have a 30-minute lesson, and it would normally take the children another 10 years to learn everything that we're going to see in the lesson. We did something at this school in Wega. We discovered the principle on which the whole universe works, and that includes people. Once you know how people work, what makes them do things, everything changes. Now, what you're going to see is very, very special, and we've only just done it, but watch it working. Now, Sean, would you like to put your pencil on my Now, long, long, long time ago, there was nothing. No earth, no stars, no water, just nothing. Nothing looks like this. If you shout out, we lose 5 minutes. Okay. Now, how can you make something like this out of nothing? Well, there's some special little, they're not things. This is a thing. But there's something out here in all the black, like this. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's plus and minus. Plus and minus is electricity. It's not a thing. And how am I going to make the earth? No, I'm going to answer questions later. Is that okay? But there's another nothing. Another nothing that makes things move without touching. It's not anything. It makes things fall down. Gravity is nothing. I can't see it, I can't feel it. But watch what happens when one nothing, which is very different from these nothing, pulls them together. Look what happens. They get closer and closer and closer and closer until this happens. If you try and push north and north on a magnet together, when they get close, they stop. And if I pull them together, they all stop. Gravity, nothing. Pulling plus nothings and minus nothings. Stop. It makes something out of nothing. And that nothing is still a big black nothing. And it looks like this. Hands up, leaves. There's no earth. Let me tell a story, and then we'll answer questions in 1 minute. Is that all right? Okay, thank you. Now, in the middle of my big black nothing, one day, one special day, 2 pluses get closer and closer, and there's one more nothing, which is very, very strong, but it cannot pull a long way. And what happens when those plus and plus touch? Fire comes out. And that's what happens. Fire comes out like this. Bang. But it doesn't go bang because there's so much nothing. Gravity nothing. Pulling in like this. So I've got 2 nothings making something. And this happens. Fire pushing out. Gravity pulling in. And they stop. They stop. So it's like this. Gravity pulling in. Plus and plus don't go together. Minus and minus won't go together. Balances. Now, in the middle, more pluses, more pluses, more pluses, more. But every time you put one more, it gets harder and harder and harder. There's more plus, too much plus, and one special day.
The others are broken.
It makes something. It makes this metal. When you make that metal, iron, this happens. Fire pushing out. Gravity pulling in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No more fire. What happens? It all comes out. But now look. I've got lots of different nothings. Nothings like this. Water. Nothings like this. That nothing is what you need to make living things, because something pulls all the different nothings back together. What's that nothing? What pulls everything back together? Hands up. Yes. It's gravity again. And it makes something else. It makes a new little star. The sun. There it is. And now, because some of these nothings are heavy and some are light, it makes different places. It makes a place like this. Hands up. Beautiful place like that. And in the middle, hands up. If we've got hands up, it makes a little blue place. Earth. And the Earth must be here. Saturn going this way. And the Sun going this way. And it stops just in the right place. So it's not too hot and it's not too cold. But there's more places. There's this one. Hands up. And 2 more. Oh, and look. There's 4 of these. And there's 4 of these. And all of these have rings.
Earth didn't have.
Hands up. Yes. And none of these have rings. And each one of these is in between the sun and one of these. And the sun has rings. And they must be here. Like that.
I can't see.
It looks just like this. Oh, now I understand why it all has to be just like this. But now, because the Earth is in just the right place here, where it's not too hot and it's not too cold, and all the little nothings that make everything are in water, which is not too cold. If water gets too cold, it changes into ice. But because the Earth is not ice, one day the little magnets stick to it. Like this. And this has left and right. This has left and right. And if I open that, look what happens. If I've got 2 magnets which are north and south, and I open it, I've got north here, south here. If that north finds a south, what does it do? If this north, if this south finds a north, what does it do? So now I've got 2, just the same. And if I open 2, how many have I got? 4. And then, how many? If I open 4, I get 8. And then,
12.
no,
16.
try again. 16. And 32, 64, 128, 256. When does it stop? It. Hands up, hands up. Robert, say again so everyone can hear. It never stops. And that is very, very dangerous because if you have some DNA inside something like this. I want your hands up, please. Now this is not dangerous to people, but there's one of these in Tijan Science Museum, so we're going to use this one because the children can go and look at it. Now I'm going to draw some virus DNA in there. It's not a living thing because there is no cell and it does not need three things that all cells need. Hands up.
Okay.
See water, air and food. Sugar. Now look what happens when this virus sticks onto one of your cells. I'm going to put, there's your DNA. Makes a little hole and puts some virus DNA down into yours. And your cell opens it. And just keeps making more and more and more and more until all your cell is full of virus DNA. When it's full, the cell breaks. Out comes all the virus. Round your body. More and more, and it goes to all of your cells until you are full of virus DNA. So you can see it's a fight. Virus DNA. Hey, stop, teacher, stop. There's millions of virus all here now, and I'm breathing them. So why don't I die? Hands up. We have some special cells in our body that you get from your mother. And those cells, they know what this is. And they come and eat it. But sometimes, virus changes, the DNA changes, and it makes a new virus, H1N9, and nobody has any H1N9 cells. So, somebody dies, more people die. But one day somebody's DNA changes and they make H1N9 cells. Oh. So we don't all die. And this person has babies who all have H1N9 cells. And this is why the diversity of rainforests is where you will find all the medicines. The battle between the bacteria evolving and the diversity of living things evolving. So that is our medicine cabinet. And the same goes for coral reefs. So now we know. There's no arguing. Now look what happens. We make the smallest kind of cell. It is a living thing. It needs air, food and sugar. It's a bacteria. And bacteria get sick with virus too. The virus is not a living thing. But then bacteria change into lots of different bacteria who can live together and make a big cell. And you looked at this cell with a microscope, swimming, finding food with no brain. You don't need a brain. And that can change into balls of cells living together. And if I change the shape of the ball of cells, I can start to make little animals. And you looked at this animal in the microscope. Animals that do not have mummies and daddies, which change into animals that do have mummies and daddies, and do have left and right, and do have a brain. Two little guys. which change into animals that have mouths. So now it's food in and food out, and you can keep your food inside your tummy, which change into animals that can swim like a fish, but it is not a fish because there are no bones. Now I can see how it all works. It just keeps changing, and it changes into animals that are fish, which change into animals which have teeth, which change into animals which have fins with bones, which change into animals which have special fins. And I'm going to count. No, you can count. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 special ones. Not these ones, these 4 special ones. Which change into an animal that does this. Which change into animals which come out of the water, and if you are out of the water, you need these. How many do you need? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they change into animals like this. And look, his legs come out of the side. They're not very good. Which change into animals which have eggs out of water. And if you have eggs out of water, you need something on the outside. So all the water does not come out in the sunshine. Which change into animals like this, who have a hole in their head. And you have that hole in your head. Do you want to find it?
No.
Which change into animals like this. But look at his legs. His legs are going down and down and down. And now he goes like a dog. But it is not a dog. Hair like a dog. It looks like a dog. But still lays eggs. So it's not a dog. Which change into animals that have babies inside their tummy. And now you can carry your babies like this. And nobody can come and eat your eggs. Is it all right if I answer questions? Which change into animals. Let's put this down because that's better. That's better. Which change into animals. Hands up. These animals are called
Rat.
hands up. All of them together, Sandra. All the animals which are like this. Begins with letter M. Emily. Mammals. Which change into animals that have hands. And if you have hands, you can climb trees when the lion comes to eat you. Monkeys. Which change into animals with no tails. Apes.
Keep on.
Not. Don't shout, please. Which change into an animal that will pick up a stick. And a dog can't do that. Which change into an animal that one day does this. Hands up. Flat. Stands up. And she has a name. Hands up. Robert. Lucy. And if you go to Taichung Science Museum, you can see Lucy's bones in a box. And you can hear a song. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. But Lucy cannot talk like you. She doesn't have a big brain. Shh. Doesn't have a big brain. But she can sing. Because singing is easy to understand. If you could see singing, it would look like this. If you could see talking, it would look like that. It's very hard to understand. And there are some animals that sing outside. You can hear them talking to each other by singing. Let's try somebody different. That. And there are some mammals that sing in the ocean. Whales. Now I understand what music is, and everybody likes music. And he has a big brain because he talks and he makes things, lives together and paints pictures. So this is a story of bones that keep changing and changing and changing and changing and changing
People.
until all the bones are sitting here looking at you. Now, can you be quiet for 5 minutes while I just... Now you've just seen something really special. The information on how to do that is now legally protected. You can't just give it out and let people use it. It's called H2H. That's all right. This school here, Wega, in Taichung, we are the only people licensed to do that training. But we need some time, so please don't leave the school. We'll put some information on our website when we're ready to start giving that information out. You can't teach like this unless you've been specially trained. That would be dangerous. So that's what we're going to do. I'd like to say thank you everybody for being such good children. Bye. We'll see you later.